What if you come across this spawner, and instead of having to leave it behind or just loot the chest and go, you can take it with you? Let's get right into it. Don't be intimidated by the command blocks behind me. I know most people are, but this is a super simple command system that gives you Silk Touch abilities to pick up spawners simply by throwing whatever item you choose on top of the spawner. Alright, we're going to go ahead and start with this triple stack here. Make sure that all of these command blocks are all pointing in the upward direction. And we're going to start with the main clone block. This is the command block that's actually going to clone the spawner that you throw the torch on top of. It's going to be set to repeat, unconditional, always active. And here's the command. Feel free to pause it, or I will be putting the command in the description of this video, along with every other command that we go through in this video. There's only two things to say about this command. One being, torch is the item that you're going to be throwing on top of the spawner. It is detecting the torch. You can do whatever item you want. I did torch just because they're easy to make, and most people already have them whenever they go mining. The other thing that I want to talk about is these coordinates here, 17, 5, negative 54. They will be different for you. This right here is the location of where it's going to be cloning the block. So for me, it's 17, 5, negative 54, which is right there. So now you know that right here is where the spawner will be cloning. Take these coordinates of this block and put them into this location here. Next up, we're going to be going over the redstone start. This is what is going to spawn a redstone block directly underneath this spawner, which will activate this redstone line. I put a piece of red wool here so I know where the redstone is going to spawn every time. So this is going to be set up chain conditional always active, meaning if the first block does not work, this will not activate. And it's going to be set block, coordinates underneath the spawner, redstone block. So this was 17.5 and negative 54. The redstone will spawn at 17.4, negative 54, directly underneath it. I'll be using red wool to signify the redstone block and where it needs to spawn. At this point, this starts activating this chain. But before we go into this chain, we're going to actually discuss this last optional block. I added this because it didn't feel good breaking the spawner with a torch and not having a sound to go with it. It was just kind of boring. So I actually went through the sounds and found what I felt like was the perfect sound. So you use whatever sound you want, but this is the one that I used. This block is going to be set to chain conditional always active, and here is the command for that. The only thing that you would change in this command is obviously after playsound, where I have block.false_permissions. That is actually the sound that I'm using when it breaks. So if you want a different sound, look up the sound bites and or the sound bits and see which ones you like the most, and just take this out and put yours in, but make sure you do it properly. And of course, if you are not using a torch, if you are changing it to something else, you need to change this as well. Alright, once you have this section complete, you can go ahead and break these if you want. That was just to show you where the coordinates or where the blocks were supposed to be. We're going to move on to this. This is a clone spawn test. Make sure all of these are going into each other like this. It's going to be repeat unconditional needs redstone. Here's the command for that. And with this command, the only thing that you're going to change is these coordinates here. These coordinates for you will be the same exact coordinates that you put in to your main clone command. This command block here places a spawner here. And this command here tests to make sure that the block is actually there. If there's no block there, you have a problem. Once you are done with this command here, go ahead and place a spawner on top of the command block with whatever mob you are starting with. You do have to make a full line, like this one, for every single mob spawner. So, if you've got a zombie, skeleton, cave spider, regular spider, all of the spawners in the game that you can actually find in caves or in abandoned mine shafts, you actually have to have a line for each one of them. If you do not, here's what happens. This is a zombie spawner. This is a skeleton spawner. Throw the torch on top. The system breaks because it does not recognize the skeleton spawner as a copy of the zombie spawner. All right, next up, we're going to the block directly behind that one, which is the give spawner. This is the one that once it detects everything, it gives you the spawner directly into your inventory. So this is going to be chain conditional always active. Here is the command. And the only thing that would be different with this one is if you change the torch to something else, you would have to change it here as well. After you do the give spawner, we're going to go to spawn egg. It's going to be chain conditional always active. Here's the command for this one. And again, if you use the torch, you don't have to change it. If you change it to something else, you have to change the torch. Other than that, the only thing that you change on here is the actual ID code specific to the mob that you're getting. So, spawn underscore egg 1, that's the amount. 32, that is the item ID of a zombie spawn egg. I will put those item IDs in the description, so you guys have easy access to those as well. After spawn egg, we're going to go to break spawner. This is going to be chain conditional always active. And here's the command. And the only thing that would be different with this one would be if you decide not to use torch. All right, next up is going to be reset. This is going to be getting rid of the blocks that land here. Next up is going to be reset. This command is going to be resetting the block right here, which is your redstone block. It's going to be chain conditional always active and set block, the coordinates of that redstone block location, air. And then reset spawner. I don't know why it's called test spawner. Reset spawner, set block 17.5, -54 air, right above that redstone block. Chain conditional, always active. If you have Windows 10 or a keyboard and mouse that you can hook up to your Xbox, I don't know if PlayStation allows it, but if they do, a keyboard and mouse will make the entire thing a lot easier if you're planning on doing every spawner. You don't need to do these over and over again, you just need to do these rows. With keyboard and mouse, you can actually hit Control and the scroll wheel on the mouse, you click it, and it will copy the entire redstone block with the commands inside. And you can go through and you can do that on every single command so that you don't have to write them out over and over again. If you don't have a keyboard and mouse, or PlayStation doesn't allow it, anything like that, I'm sorry, it's going to be a very long process for you. But hopefully everything will work and you can use a keyboard and mouse to make your life a lot easier. When placing these down, obviously start with the first one like this and just follow them all the way back. They will all still be named and have all the commands still in them. And the only thing that you need to change in these is this spawn egg number right here, 32. So 32 is the number for a zombie. Say, for instance, you want to switch this to a skeleton, that number would be 34. Once you have all of this done and you have the spawn egg ID changed to the proper one for the actual spawner itself, you can then place the spawner on top, put the egg in, and all you need to do is move this redstone line over, just like that. And I will say it again. If you have the ability to copy the entire command block, this will make your process 10 times easier. The only thing that you have to change when doing this is the spawn egg ID number to coordinate with whatever mob it is that you are making the spawner for. The last thing that you need to do to get this system to work anywhere in the world is you need to have it set up in a ticking area. If you have a single sleep system set up, you probably already have one set over there, so I recommend just putting this next to that. But if you don't, I'll go ahead and show you how to do it. So you're going to backslash ticking area, add circle, tilde, 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 and you can do it right on top of the spawners if you want to. And then you're going to do the radius as 1. So that will cover this entire chunk, meaning that these will always be running, so no matter where you are in the world, you'll be able to pick up a spawner. Now, I will go ahead and tell you guys that I have tried this in the nether for nether mobs. It works when it's in peaceful. However, it does not work in anything other than peaceful. I don't know why. I'm still trying to figure it out. If I do figure it out, I will make an updated video specifically for the nether. But right now, it is still a work in progress. I'm just happy that we Bedrock members now have some sort of silk touch ability for these spawners for our realms and our worlds. I hope that you have no issues with this tutorial, and if you do, please comments down below, join the Discord, whatever you need to get help. I am free to help whenever you need it. This system is great and will work great for my realm, and I would love for it to work great for your realm as well. So don't be afraid to reach out, whether on the YouTube, the Discord, or the stream, to get help that you need when you need it. Thank you so much for checking out this tutorial video. I hope it served you well. Until next time, King out.